Hey, what's up everybody? This is Zay from CarNewba Detailing. I'm hoping you guys are all having a wonderful day just like always. Now in today's video I'm going to be going over a detail that I previously completed with one of my customers, Lexus IS250. Now I ran into some major issues with this vehicle along the detailing process, which is what we're going to be going over through today. But if you haven't already, make sure to check out my Instagram so you can get a heads up on future videos, future content, giveaways, and things of that nature on Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. Most of my content is put out on Instagram, so I'll put my tag both in the video and in the description below. Thank you so much for watching the intro, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Alright guys, so this is the IS250 in the sunlight, and as you can see, this is some of the worst black paint I've seen in a very, very long time. Now just to give you a bit of a background on the previous owner and how he exactly got it to this level of marring and scratching and swirl marks. Let's just say he used a California duster pretty much on a weekly, maybe even daily basis on the vehicle. And I know I've mentioned this before to you guys in my previous videos, but improper forms of lubrication is probably one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of people running into when they get scratches, swirl marks, marring, and stuff like that. You have to make sure anytime you touch your vehicle's paint, there is proper lubrication on the surface, whether it be proper car soap or something like O&R from Optimum. You do need proper lubrication when you're trying to clean your vehicle. Do not use any kind of dry touch method or a California duster, or even a quality microfiber towel without proper lubrication can have the chance or risk of scratching and marring the surface, all right? Now, bringing the Lexus into the garage, as you can see, there's absolutely no shine and no depth in this paint. We have major watermarks around the vehicle as well, as you can see here in this photo. But this is kind of an extreme level. And as you can see over here as well, you can see some very heavy orange peel effect over here on this fender. And I'll get into that in just a second as well. As you can see here, there is primer, and this is probably the biggest issue that I found with the car. Now, this vehicle was in a previous rear-end accident. The previous owner did say that he got it professionally repaired, but I highly, highly doubt that. From what I found on the vehicle, the paint job was very poorly done. There was primer showing on certain areas, just like you saw over there in that previous photo. And just the paint from the rear end of the bumper and some other areas around the vehicle, such as that fender with the orange peel that I showed you on, was very, very poor. So there was a lot of risk that I had to mitigate throughout this process for me as a detailer going in it. So I did have to make this a multi-day process. We did have to work around the schedule of my customer because I was not going to take the chance of going ahead and doing this outside without proper lighting for me to examine the paints panel by panel before proceeding. So I washed the vehicle previously, fully deconned it, and then I went ahead and did a quick IPA wipe down, as you can see right over here. Now, after that, guys, the IPA wipe down is a very simple process. We all know that. Don't make it confusing. I know a lot of people are talking about IPA wipe downs not working and things like that, but trust me, the IPA wipe down after a proper decon stage works phenomenal on removing any kind of oils or excessive product from the claying stage and stuff like that. But after I was done with the IPA wipe down, guys, I went ahead and got a paint thickness gauge. Now, I ordered this a couple weeks ago. Haven't used one of these in a while. This is a brand that I will put in a link in the description below, and I find it to be really, really accurate. It comes in at around $150, but it is a really great tool, and it's very accurate as well. Now, the average that I found around the vehicle was around 130 to 140 microns, and as you can see, there's a big inconsistency when it comes to paint on the rear end of the vehicle. I found areas where I believe there was sanding marks as well, and those were lower in microns, and then also the repainted areas with over 200 microns worth of paint. So as you can see, I did have to go ahead, take this stuff panel by panel, and be very careful with the whole process prior to even trying to compound and polish the vehicle. Now, right over here, I'm doing my test panel. I always start at the rear end of the vehicle on the deck lid of the trunk. Reason being, people are touching that all the time when they're opening and closing the actual trunk itself. So there's probably going to be more excessive marring, scratching, and deeper types of marring and scratching on that surface. So when you do go ahead and detail the rest rest of the vehicle, it's going to be easier than detailing that, okay? So you kind of get an image, an idea of what exactly you need to do. Now, I tried doing a one-step with a very heavy cut pad and then also Meguiar's 205, and these are the results that I got. Dramatic difference, but not where I want it to be, okay? So there was a little bit more oomph that I needed. I concluded to myself that I will have to go ahead and do a two-stage step correction on some parts of the vehicle, the hood, the rear deck lid of the trunk, areas that are very marred and scratched compared to the rest of the vehicle, some with heavier marring and scratching, deeper gouges, did need a two-step correction. That's exactly what I'm doing on the hood over here. Alright everybody, so any area that I utilize a two-step stage correction, I use a heavy cut compounding foam pad along with Meguiar's 105, and then I followed that up with a medium polishing pad with Meguiar's 205, and I'll show you the results of that in just a few minutes. Any other areas I did a one-step on, I just used a heavy cut polishing pad with Meguiar's 205, and I added an extra pass-through or two and a little bit more pressure to remove some more defects compared to the test panel I showed you previously. Like always, guys, everyone has a budget that they need to work on, and if I was doing a full two-stage paint correction on this vehicle, we'll be looking on well over $800 to $1,000 for the service. So I was just doing as much as I could for my customer. I always give everyone 110% of everything that I got when it comes to products, quality, value, and all that stuff in mind. So I really try to do my best, but at the same time, guys, I can't kill myself. I know what I'm worth. So areas that needed it, I performed a two-stage. Areas that I thought it can go by without really being noticed by your average individual that's not a professional, I did a one-step on. And the results at the end of the day were really great, and you're going to see that at the end of the video. But until we get to that point, I want to talk about a very important subject, both for professionals and consumers alike, and individuals that regularly buy used cars. Now, like I said before, guys, my customer, the one that I'm currently working with that owns the vehicle, bought this car off the used car market from a previous owner. Obviously, the previous owner did not know how to take care of cars when it comes to paint, but like I stated prior, there were accidents involved on the rear end of the vehicle, and the previous owner did state that he took care of it professionally, but obviously that wasn't the truth. I'm just going to go over a few things that you need to watch out for when it comes to purchasing a used car, okay? Number one, the first issue that my customer ran into and that I spotted when she explained the situation to me when she went to go purchase the vehicle was she went during the evening. Now, it wasn't dark out, but it wasn't sunny either. There's kind of that perfect point during the day where any car pretty much looks good, even one that's detailed and one that's not detailed, okay? Because there is not enough sunlight hitting directly on the panel for your eye to notice certain marring and scratching and stuff like that, okay? So that's one thing you want to watch out for is what time of the day are you going to go and look and inspect the vehicle. Try during the morning or afternoon where there's enough sunlight. Avoid cloudy days because those are also days where cars generally look good because there's not enough sun and UV rays for your eye to notice certain marring and scratching around the vehicle. Number two, guys, you have to watch out for fillers, okay? When I say by fillers, I mean waxes, sealants, and coatings. Anybody can top a vehicle off with a wax simply the day before and make it look pretty glossy and pretty shiny. Will it cover up all the marring and scratching? No. But will it cover up enough just to make the car look good for certain individuals? That's a possibility. And I think that's exactly what happened to this vehicle over here. Now, when my customer described the vehicle when she went ahead and bought it, day of, she said it looked pretty good. There were some areas around the vehicle that were noticeable that needed some work, but overall, the vehicle didn't look half bad, all right? And what we saw at the beginning of the video was pretty bad when I was outside showing you the 360 of the Lexus, okay? Now, over time, throughout her ownership, she did notice that the paint started looking worse and worse and worse. What does that tell you guys? The fillers from whatever wax or sealant that was used by the previous owner to hide any kind of marring and scratching was starting to dissipate and evaporate and start to degrade on the surface, showing you any kind of leftover marring, scratching, and defects on the surface of the paint, all right? So that's something that you have to look out for. Now, a wax can last anywhere from a month to two, and sealants can last anywhere from 6 to a year, and coatings can last all the way up to 2 years. So you might not even know half the time until that coating or filler is properly removed from the surface. So I recommend, guys, if you can, go ahead and bring a bottle of IPA, do a quick wipe down, ask the owner if that's okay with them. And if they say no, they're probably hiding something from you, okay? Because it's very easy to fill something up like a minor scratch or something like that with a little bit of wax to the point where in certain sunlight, it's not even noticeable, okay? So that's another thing you have to watch out for. Now, in general, when you guys are going to purchase a vehicle, especially higher-end vehicles, sports cars, supercars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, stuff like that, go ahead and call a professional to do an inspection. When I go out for one of my customers or clients to go ahead and inspect a vehicle, especially used ones, it takes me about 30 minutes or so to go ahead and inspect the exterior and the interior. I go ahead and take paint thickness gauge of all the painted surfaces on the vehicle, making sure that it's consistent throughout. I check anything like orange peel if I can under proper lighting as well. I check everything from the rims, the wheel wells, if there's any damage right over there in those areas. So there's a lot to it when it comes to inspection. And then when moving on to interior, I also check carpet, leather, trim pieces, stuff like that, making sure those are all good to go. There's no fraying, there's no cracking, there's no marring or scratching on trim pieces. So you have to take all of this in consideration. But a quick 30-minute inspection from a professional can be the make it or break it for you as a car buyer, okay? If I perform this inspection for my customer that I'm working with right now, she would not have bought this vehicle 100%. And she has already told me that. And she wished she knew about me prior or wished that those types of services are even offered in the market. So sadly, this is after the fact, so we gotta just work with what we got going on. So we're just trying to get it to the point where it's satisfactory for her, whether it be ownership or maybe even satisfactory to sell the vehicle and not lose any money on it whatsoever in the near future, okay? So please, if you're trying to buy a vehicle and you don't really know much about car detailing and paint inspection and stuff like that, go ahead and call a professional. Trust me, it's worth it. $100 to $300 for an inspection, depending on your distance and things like that and how long it's going to take, I think is completely worth it, especially if you're buying anything over $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Just a few $100 will save your butt when it comes to stuff like damage from accidents and things like that you don't want on the history of your vehicle, all right? Besides that, guys, we're going to get into the results of the paint correction process. I know I'm showing you the hood right now, but I'm going to show you the rest of the vehicle as well. Like I said, some areas I did a 2-step, some areas I did a 1-step, but at the end of the day, I think the vehicle turned out great, and my customer loved it to a point where any idea or mentality of selling the vehicle was a no-go for her. She wants to keep it now, so I'm really glad to hear that, and she's really enjoying it. She's been driving for a couple weeks now after I was done detailing, and she can't get over how awesome it is. So I thank all my customers, like always, for choosing me over anybody else to take care of the vehicles, and these are the results that we are able to achieve with a couple hours of work and quality tools, quality products, but most importantly, skill, knowledge, and proper practice when it comes to everything that we do here at CarNewba Detailing and on this channel, guys. All right, everybody, like always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to answer them. Remember to leave a thumbs up and also remember to subscribe as well. Any support that you provide me is great for me to keep making these videos on a weekly basis. Besides that, make sure to check out my Instagram page. I post a lot of my content daily on Instagram, any kind of news when it comes to sponsorship or before and afters on my customers' vehicles that I'm working on that I'm not able to make a full YouTube video on. I post them on Instagram, all right? So there's a lot of content there that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. A lot of awesome stuff going on with sponsorships, and I'm more than happy to follow you back as well if you do follow me, all right? Like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. My Instagram page is at CarNewba Detailing. I'll put it in the link below and hopefully a link on the video itself as well. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.